Okay, imagine this scenario. You're heading up marketing for, let's say, a really cool new product, maybe a sustainable smart home gadget. You've got a small team, budget's tight, and the launch date is looming. The pressure, it's huge. You need content, sure, but not just any content. You need stuff that's high impact, personalized, something that actually cuts through all the noise online, builds some real buzz, and gets people clicking buy. Sound familiar? That constant rush, trying to stay ahead of trends while still needing to be, well, creative and unique. Well, what if there was a tool, like a powerful co-pilot, that could seriously change how you approach all that? Today, we're doing a deep dive into artificial intelligence. Specifically, we're focusing on Google's Gemini. It's really emerging as this advanced and incredibly flexible tool for marketers, not just for writing stuff, but for rethinking the whole workflow. So our mission today, for you listening, is to give you a really solid guide, whether you're, a seasoned marketing pro, maybe facing that exact launch pressure, or maybe you're just curious about where AI is heading. We're going to break down how you can use Gemini to make your digital marketing way more efficient, much more personalized, and frankly, more strategically creative. Right from that first idea all the way to getting it out there. Think of this as your shortcut, your way to get up to speed on what this powerful tool can actually do for you and your business.
Yeah, it's really not just about what it does, but how it fundamentally changes what you're capable of doing. That core promise of Gemini in marketing, it speaks directly to those tricky situations you just described. If you just step back a bit, its main goals are pretty well transformative. First off, it's designed to seriously boost your team's productivity and, importantly, lift the overall quality of the content you produce. Imagine like cutting down that first draft time by, say, 70%. That frees up your best people for the strategic thinking, the stuff that really moves the needle. Second, it enables this level of hyper-personalization, making your messages feel almost uncannily relevant, like the AI gets your customer, crafting calls to action that really hit home. Third, it's built to optimize your SEO, your content marketing efforts, getting you much better visibility, which, if you're a smaller team, means you can actually compete with the big guys. And finally, it lets you generate new ideas super quickly, launch campaigns with just much greater agility than before. So to really unpack that, we're going to detail the kinds of content Gemini can help you create. We'll look at how you can tweak its tone and style for different platforms, different audiences, and crucially, we'll give you some practical prompt examples, things you can try out. Plus, we'll try to give a balanced view. The huge advantages, yes, but also the important things to consider when you bring AI into your marketing world.
That really does sound like a major shift because, let's be real, before you even type a single word of an ad or a blog post, good content always starts with understanding, right? Your market, your audience, who you're up against. That initial research, the strategy part, it often takes the most time. Feels like real detective work sometimes. So for our hypothetical smart home product launch, how does Gemini speed that part up? Give us an edge right at the beginning.
Right, this is where Gemini shines as that analytical co-pilot you mentioned. It fundamentally changes the timeline for getting strategic insights. Its power here comes from, well, the massive amount of data it's trained on and its advanced language processing. It can sift through just billions of data points, social media chatter, news articles, search trends incredibly fast. It spots emerging patterns that, honestly, a human analyst might take weeks or even months to uncover. Take trend analysis, for instance. You can literally ask Gemini to analyze the latest trends in your industry. It can pinpoint popular topics, find out what questions people are actually asking online related to your field. So you're not just guessing what interests people. You're responding to real emerging market demands. Imagine using a prompt like this. Analyze digital marketing trends for sustainable smart home products in 2025 and suggest relevant content topics for a blog focused on eco-conscious living. What you get back are insights into areas like maybe AI-driven energy saving, or the circular economy in tech, or local smart grids, plus actual blog ideas tied directly to those future trends. It's like getting foresight, but super fast. Then there's buyer persona creation. Gemini can help build out really detailed profiles of your ideal customers. It uses demographic data, online behaviors, interests, all to paint a picture that can seriously enhance or even completely change how you think about your personas.
Okay, but how deep can it really go? Is it just surface level?
That's a great question. It can go surprisingly deep. Try a prompt like, create 3 detailed buyer personas for a new sustainable smart home device, including their challenges, goals, preferred content channels, and how the product helps them save money and the environment.
You could get back profiles with names, job titles, specific pain points like sky-high energy bills, or maybe feeling guilty about environmental impact and their goals, maybe wanting a self-sufficient home, and even suggestions on how to talk that. Getting that depth that quickly, it's invaluable for tailoring your message from day one.
Wow, that level of detail is impressive. And the speed, yeah, sounds like a total game changer for a small team. But I have to ask this. For a smaller business especially, is there a risk of relying too much on these AI personas? Maybe missing those unique human quirks you only get from actually talking to customers, doing focus groups. How do we keep that authenticity? That's a really important point. And it circles back to why we call it a co-pilot, not the pilot, right? Gemini gives you an incredibly solid starting point, a detailed framework. But then you absolutely need to validate and enrich it with those qualitative human insights, talking to people. It basically does the heavy lifting of sorting through tons of data so your team can focus their interview time on getting at those deeper emotional drivers, the things an AI might guess at but can't truly feel or understand like a person can. So it shifts your team's effort. Less data gathering, more empathy building.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Use it as a powerful starting block. So Gemini seems like a beast for the strategic setup. Now let's get to the part where I think most people expect AI to really shine, the actual content creation. Writing the posts, the articles, the emails. From short little snippets to longer pieces, its versatility must be key here, right?
Absolutely. This is where you see Gemini's power in very tangible ways. It really excels at generating text across loads of different formats. Let's start with, say, social media posts. Gemini can whip up short, engaging text that's optimized for platforms like Instagram, LinkedIn, X, Facebook. It can adjust the tone, suggest relevant hashtags, making sure your posts aren't just creative, but also set up for better discovery and engagement based on how those platforms work. For example, you could prompt it. Generate 5 Instagram posts about the benefits of a smart home powered by sustainable energy with an inspiring tone and relevant hashtags for eco-conscious homeowners. And boom, you get ready-to-use captions, highlighting energy savings, maybe the environmental pluses, or just a cool convenience factor, complete with hashtags like hashtag eco-friendly home, hashtag smart living, maybe hashtag sustainable tech, moving to longer stuff like articles and blogs. Gemini is surprisingly capable here. It can draft entire articles, create summaries, or write specific sections for you. But, and this is really crucial, the human element is absolutely essential, non-negotiable really.
Right, you can't just copy paste.
Yeah, exactly. The marketing pro needs to review, refine, enrich that content. And the unique brand voice, the specific insider knowledge, maybe personal anecdotes, the stuff only a human brings. Smart teams are actually feeding Gemini their brand style guides, tone documents, even examples of what not to sound like to fine-tune it. So Gemini builds the house, but you're still the architect making it unique. A prompt like, write an 800-word article on the future of sustainable living, how smart home tech is leading the way, focusing on practical benefits and environmental impact for homeowners. That would give you a well-structured piece covering those points, a really strong starting point to then refine and inject your brand's unique angle. And finally, for direct comms like emails and newsletters, Gemini can be a huge help here too. It drafts emails for different campaigns, adjusting the style for the audience, optimizing those calls to action. Think about welcome emails for new users of your smart home device, special offers for upgrades, or follow-ups based on how they're using the product. Being able to easily adapt tone for different stages of that customer journey is key. You could use a prompt like, create the text for a monthly newsletter about our smart home company's latest sustainable innovations, with a clear call to action for subscribers to explore our new energy management features on our website. And you'd get a full draft updates, maybe a promo, and that direct nudge for people to visit your site.
That's really powerful. Not just churning out words, but creating content that's actually built for a purpose, targeted for specific channels, specific people. But, okay, creating great content is one thing. Getting people to actually see it is another challenge entirely. You could write the best article ever about your sustainable smart home, but if it's buried on page 10 of Google search results, well, what's the point, right? Visibility in search engines is just critical today. So how does Gemini help with that? How does it become an SEO tool to get that great content found?
Right, this is where we connect creation with strategy. And what's really interesting is that Gemini doesn't just help you write, it helps you write smarter. It kind of anticipates what users are looking for. When it comes to keyword generation, Gemini can suggest those long-tail keywords and related questions people are actually typing into search engines. This helps your content align directly with user search intent. So instead of trying to rank for super broad competitive terms like just smart home,
Which is almost impossible for a small player.
exactly. You get suggestions for more niche phrases that people are actively searching for. This makes your content much more discoverable by the right audience, the ones who are often closer to making a decision. Its ability to find these nuances come from understanding how language is actually used in search queries. So, for instance, using a prompt like, suggest a list of long-tail keywords and frequently asked questions related to sustainable smart home technology for renters. You might get back things like eco-friendly smart devices, no installation for apartments, or best portable energy monitors for rental properties. Plus, questions like, can smart thermostats save money in a rented home?
Wow.
This directly informs your content plan for a very specific SEO niche.
Okay, that's incredibly specific, which is exactly what a lean team needs to kind of, punch above its weight. But here's a thought. If everyone starts using Gemini for this, aren't we just going to end up with tons of content all targeting the same keywords? Won't it get even harder to stand out?
That's a totally valid concern. And it forces us to think beyond just basic keyword matching. The goal isn't just more content, it needs to be smarter content, more persuasive content. And Gemini's ability to generate meta descriptions and titles is really key here. The tool can craft compelling SEO-optimized titles and those little description snippets you see in search results. They're designed to boost your click-through rates, your CTR.
So getting the click after you show up.
Precisely. It means when your content does appear in search, it's more likely to grab someone's attention, make them want to click your link, even if there are other similar results around it. It's about optimizing for that human decision. Does this look like it answers my question? Not just ticking boxes for the algorithm. So imagine that prompt. Generate a title and a meta description for a blog article on how to reduce your carbon footprint with smart home automation in an urban apartment. Unquote. Gemini might give you a title like Eco-Friendly City Living, Smart Home Tech for a Smaller Carbon Footprint, and maybe a meta description saying, Unlock Secrets to Sustainable Urban Living. Discover smart home devices helping renters get energy waste and live greener, no renovation needed. Those elements are crucial for grabbing that initial qualified click, moving beyond just being seen to actually getting engagement.
It really does sound like this incredibly comprehensive partner then, for every stage of launching that new product, from figuring out the market right through to getting that final click. But, like any powerful tool, it's obviously not a magic wand. There have to be some critical things to keep in mind. You stressed the human touch is essential. It's a co-pilot, sure, but someone still needs to be flying the plane. So what are the key challenges, the potential pitfalls that we as marketers really need to be aware of when using something like Gemini?
Right, and this naturally leads to the question, how do we maintain quality, maintain authenticity when we're using such powerful automation? While Gemini creates content incredibly fast, we absolutely have to proactively deal with originality and the risk of accidental plagiarism. Gemini learned from scraping massive amounts of text from the web. While it generates unique combinations, you still need to check its output for originality. Make sure it doesn't accidentally sound too close to existing stuff.
Because it's predicting text, not looking things up like a database.
Exactly. It's fundamentally generating the most statistically likely next word. It's not accessing a real-time verified fact database for everything. This is why human review and especially fact-checking are completely non-negotiable. Imagine a wrong statistic about market growth in a presentation. That could be disastrous.
Or a made-up customer quote.
Well, yeah, serious consequences. These are just little typos. They can really damage credibility. Another critical point is maintaining your brand voice. It's so important to train the AI. You do that by refining your prompts really carefully and by feeding it your specific brand assets, style guides, tone documents, examples of what sounds like you and what doesn't. This helps ensure the generated content actually sounds like your brand consistently. Without that guidance, everything can start sounding generic, and you lose what makes your brand unique. And we also need to be careful about excessive dependence. The automation is amazing, but it shouldn't replace human creativity, critical thinking, or strategic decision-making. AI should be seen as this incredibly powerful complement to human skills, not a wholesale substitute. The human marketer still has to be the strategist, the visionary, the one who gets the subtle nuances of human emotion and market shifts, the one who can truly innovate beyond what an algorithm might predict based on past data. I remember spending a whole weekend just trying to nail down 3 buyer personas for a niche product once. With Gemini, that might be a lunchtime task now, which frees me up to actually think about how those personas feel, how they react to our campaigns. And finally, back to data verification. Always verify facts, especially numbers, statistics, specific claims. Like we said, Gemini's knowledge isn't always perfectly up to the minute for every single niche topic, so human fact-checking is just vital for accuracy and credibility, especially if you're talking about, say, the precise energy savings of your smart home device. You need that to be right.
That's such a crucial reminder. The human judgment, the validation, the strategic direction that's irreplaceable, even with these amazing tools. So, pulling it all together for you listening, it really sounds like Gemini can be that creative and analytical co pilot we discussed at the start. It can dramatically speed up content production, take personalization to a whole new level, and really optimize your digital visibility for genuine impact. It's clearly not just some flashy new tech trend. It feels like a fundamental shift in how marketing teams can actually operate, doesn't it?
Precisely. And looking at the bigger picture, integrating tools like Gemini into marketing isn't just, a nice to have anymore. It's rapidly becoming a necessity if you want to stay competitive, especially for those leaner teams who need to make a big impact without massive resources. The most successful approaches we're seeing are the ones that really blend the strengths. The AI handles the scale, the speed, the optimization grunt work, while the human marketers provide the creative spark, the strategic oversight, that essential brand authenticity, and, well, the critical human touch. Which I think leads us to a final, maybe provocative thought for you to chew on. As these AI tools like Gemini get even more sophisticated and more common, how does the role of the human marketer actually evolve? What new skills become most valuable? Maybe less about the doing of content creation and more about strategic orchestration, ethical oversight, finding innovative applications for these tools, especially in a world where basic content generation can be largely automated. So we encourage you to think, how can you leverage these tools not just to automate tasks, but to truly innovate? To elevate your marketing efforts to entirely new places. Maybe becoming more of an architect of marketing experiences rather than just a builder of content pieces.